Hello guys and welcome back to episode 8 of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode we had the major trade route being opened up here, as well as Britain becoming fractured, this country over here fracturing, and mainly the green team over here being dismantled by the Rome, this new basically Romania. The gold team and the red team ended up taking a bit of land as well. And anyways, we're going to head straight into the video, and to start off with, we're going to go over here where the green team is going to expand over here along the coast once again. And this is probably going to be their last expand, as they are slowly becoming a bit too large to properly exist. And so eventually we have quite a large Moroccan country. And next up, over here in Africa, we have the expansion by this kind of red team down here to the south. They're exploring quite a lot, and they go quite far down the coast until they stop, as the country, once again, a lot of the African countries aren't very strong and stable, and so they have to kind of stop before they get too large. Anyways, heading over to the two Indian countries here, we have this one continuing to expand into Bangladesh, like that, and this one taking land up here in the north. Also, we have more exploration of this area, and a lot of people do want to go down south into the jungle, and so some people do, but for now it is quite difficult for them. And quite a large area is discovered, all of this, and with that we have the Chinese country exploring or taking land quite far inland and a little bit in the south here. However, this southern bit doesn't really like being occupied by the Chinese team, and so it attempts to break away. However, the Chinese team does attempt to fight back. However, these rebels eventually spread over into Taiwan, and after a little bit more fighting, the Chinese team allows them independence, and that independence looks something like this. And so their capital city will be right down here. With that, they're going to continue to snake around the coast here, eventually setting up a kind of a nice camp like this, as well as taking this island right here. However, they do not expand anymore, as they kind of like being this settled area, and yeah. Anyways, we have the green team, the heavily trade route focused country, expand a little bit. However, once again, this area isn't really based around actual people, it's mainly on this trade route connecting China. And speaking of the trade route, we have this trade route being extended down south to the capital of this one. Kind of reluctant by the Chinese team, but they do it anyways. As well as this one being built up to the north of this one. And the final major trade route is going to be built up here into this area. Anyways, now heading back to the Central Asian countries. These guys are going to once again explore quite a lot and explore and expand. So the yellow team expands up north like this. We have the blue team going south to this lake, as well as going slightly north as well. We have the red team expanding south like this. The pink team expanding north, and we have this country right here expanding south. There's not a lot of people here, and but they are quite important countries, obviously, because that's where the trade route runs through. We also have the Koreans making a landing over here in the south of Japan, as well as these guys making a landing over here and continuing to explore the island, eventually finding it all. And they actually decide to take the island as well as the one they found, as well as starting a little bit of exploration into here, while the Koreans are continuing to expand their explored front. However, they don't go very far, as it is quite far from them, and so they decide to leave it for then. Now, heading back over here to Europe, we have the blue country that's been on a very rapid expansion, invade into this country. Now, right as they invade into the country, countries around them decide that enough is enough, and a coalition between this country, this country, this country, this country, and this country is formed. There's obviously more countries supplying them, such as the Russians. The Finnish team is also supporting them, the Estonian team, the French and Spanish team. Basically, no one in the region likes these guys, and so they are going to continue. However, eventually, the yellow team up here starts to liberate the purple team, and this area is cut off from the rest of this area. The orange team makes a landing in the Danish peninsula, eventually taking it all. We have the Romans setting up an invasion, spearheading towards the capital and quickly taking it, as well as them being completely kicked out from here, and this country continuing to expand, as well as the Swedes making a landing up here. We then have this team who's lost quite a lot of land to these guys, sending quite a lot of troops down into them, and we also have the newly formed kind of yellowish team also go up. However, they don't go very far, as it's quite far, especially through this little strip, but they are supplying the other teams, and eventually these guys surrender over. And so the peace treaty looks something like this, where we have the orange team taking the northern parts of the country, as well as a little, actually no, they continue to go along the coast. We then have this purple team taking this as well. It's quite a large area here, connecting up with the ocean. We have the Romans taking the capital city, as well as a little bit of area over here. And for the big one, the kind of Kaliningrad area is given over to the Polish people, or Polish-Lithuanian Kaliningrad people, and this area is given over to the Romanians. And so this country has been completely taken over by these four countries. However, they still don't have the best of relations, but they don't really mind each other now. Anyways, heading over to the south here, where we have the Romans invading into the Greeks. Now, I believe the Romans came from the Greek. No, basically, I think it was the Greeks were friend. Oh no, the olden Greeks that were here were friends with the Romans, but the Romans backstabbed them, and now the Greeks are just destroyed. And well, the Romans are slowly showing why they are called the Romans. They are very quickly starting to look like the Roman Empire. However, with this rapid expansion, if we look back on the Allies there, we have the square team, and the brown team isn't very happy with the Rome's expansion, and so eventually they decide to just leave the alliance, as well as the French team. And the Romans don't really want to lose their alliance, and so they go ahead looking around if anyone wants to join their alliance. And they do actually get one surprising team, and that is the Romanian team, because they are kind of scared of the gold team and the red team. But these two become quite good friends, and they decide to join up in an alliance. Now, heading back to the red team, they have been quite not expansionist for a while, and a lot of the people are actually not happy about that, and they want to expand, and so they declare war on the Egyptians, and the capital is taken very quickly, and this area is starting to be flooded with troops. However, with this, a lot of the countries that don't really like the red team decide to join in, such as the orange team, making it all the way to the coast. We have the green team invading in. And we have the blue team invading into the south. Now the red team is surprised by this, and so they pull basically all of their troops out of here, allowing for a major pushback by the Egyptians, eventually allowing them to jump into the kind of exclave of these guys, as well as pushing them as far as the Sinai Peninsula and invading in. Now the red team starts to reorganize their troops and very quickly push out the blue team and start an invasion into them. And immediately after that, the blue team just surrenders. They know they're not winning this war, and the border stays unchanged, but the red team is forcing them to pay them quite a lot of money and stop, or promise not to attack them for quite a long time. Now up here, the red team is having quite good success against the green team, as they also end up invading into these guys, eventually taking the capital within very quickly. However, the orange team is proving to be a bit more difficult, and so they asked for the help of the gold team, who actually decides to accept this. And as the gold team troops arrive, the orange team is severely kicked back, as well as the Egyptians, as well as them eventually going down the coast connecting up with their exclave, eventually taking it back for themselves, and the capital is soon taken, as well as this northern coast of the Egyptians. Finally, they continue invading into the green team, who eventually surrenders, and the red team continues to invade into the orange team now, taking the capital, and all of these countries decide to surrender over because they know they cannot win this war. So the red team is going to take land from these new countries, or from these countries, and what we have is them taking the northern coast of Egypt, as well as connecting up with their exclave. And so the capital of Egypt is taken away from here, and the country is actually split into two. And so we're going to have obviously the yellow team up here, but then we're going to have a kind of purpley team in the south. And so the capital of the purple team will be up here, and the capital of the Egyptians, who are no longer very Egyptian, is going to be right there. And the red team is then going to also take the capital of the green team for the second time in history. And the second time in history, the green team is going to have to relocate their capital city to another one right along the trade route. And for the orange team, the red team is going to take this land up here, as well as some land down here. They don't actually take the capital of the orange team, but they're making sure to be quite close enough to it that if they do invade, they can easily once again invade back. And with that, they kind of prove their strength, as these two are right to start to get worried, as these guys are starting to show once again signs of expansion. Sorry. And so a lot of the countries over here are starting to get worried, apart from one country, and that is the gold team, as they are very good friends with the red team. And so because they aren't scared of these guys, they're going to continue to expand without worrying much about their military, as they aren't worried of a possible invasion. We're also going to have more exploration done by the gold team and the Russians. However, the Russians are getting a bit big for a good stable country, and so after this expansion, they say they probably won't be expanding as rapidly as they are currently, and so this land is now left to these guys. And with that, the blue team is actually going to pounce on this opportunity and decide that they want quite a bit more land, while the red team doesn't expand. However, this causes a little bit of instability within the country, as a lot of the people in the country do want to expand. And what we have happening is the northern half of this country, the half that wants to expand, is going to break away and obviously expand very, very quickly. Now the capital of this country is going to be about here, and yeah, and for the final thing of the video, we're going to go up here to the orange team, who explores more and more of this area. They do manage to work with the Finnish team on the coast, but obviously they are not really exploring the insides, as that is quite a lot of mountains. And so the Swedes eventually meet up with the northern coast and expand a bit more along here. However, as they do this expansion, the western kind of Norwegian part decides to break away, and a new country is formed over here, and their capital, I'm not sure if they'll have a major city. No, they don't, but I'm going to place their capital right here. And so with that, that's probably going to be the last thing of the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.